But I go, can I just try another one? That moment comes and I just go, this is Sparta!
Gerard Butler might have screamed, "This is Sparta," with unstoppable energy. But behind the scenes, things were way rougher than anyone imagined. Years later, he finally started speaking out, exposing the chaos, the pressure, and the near madness happening while they made 300. When the movie dropped in March 2007, nobody expected it to become a global conversation starter. Zack Snyder took Frank Miller's graphic novel and turned it into a wild, hyper-stylized world that didn't rely on big stars or classic Hollywood storytelling, and somehow the gamble paid off in a massive way. Opening weekend alone, 300 brought in a shocking $70 million, stunning everyone in the industry. With a $60 million budget, the film flipping that into over $456 million worldwide, had studios scrambling to understand what just happened. It proved people wanted something bold and different, something that hit with style and intensity. And those Spartan bodies didn't just stay on screen, they sparked a worldwide fitness wave. Fans everywhere wanted to know how the cast looked so carved, and soon the 300 workout became the hottest topic in gyms. Trainers pushed high-intensity routines inspired by the film, and Spartan-style training became a whole movement. But behind all that hype was a brutal reality Butler finally opened up about: non-stop grind, pain, and physical tolls that never showed up on camera. The cast wasn't just acting tough, they were getting pushed to their limits every single day. Zack Snyder ran the set like a battlefield, recreating Frank Miller's art with near frame-perfect intensity. Blue screens, heavy VFX setups, and endless physical scenes created a painterly world of myth, but it came with injuries, hospital trips, and exhaustion that fans never saw until Butler spoke out. Behind all those epic slow-motion battles was a level of danger fans never imagined. Gerard Butler later admitted the set of 300 felt like a non-stop survival test, not a movie shoot. He said, "I remember every day somebody was getting taken to the hospital, and he wasn't exaggerating." According to Butler, the chaos hit during almost every fight scene. He said you'd be in the middle of a swing, turn your head, and see a guy on the ground because a spear went in his eye. Another time, someone took a bad fall and snapped an ankle right on set. The clean choreography fans loved on screen came from real chaos, tight spaces, heavy gear, and non-stop movement. Snyder pushed for authenticity, having actors perform most of their own fights, which looked amazing but came with real consequences. Bruises, cuts, muscle tears, all part of the daily routine. And with real weapons, even dulled ones, the risk stayed high every single moment. Most scenes were shot surrounded by blue screens, so the actors had to swing, yell, fight, and dodge enemies that didn't even exist, all while keeping the same energy through endless takes. It was acting mixed with hardcore physical punishment. Butler said the exhaustion hit his mind as much as his body, leaving him drained after every shoot. Still, he kept pushing, believing that playing a Spartan king meant taking on the suffering that came with it. He wore the pain like armor, even when it put him in the hospital. And all this was after the brutal training. Months before filming, Butler and the cast were pushed inside the Jim Jones gym, grinding through one of Hollywood's toughest prep programs ever. He trained non-stop for 7 months just to step into the role. Behind those stunning battle scenes was a harsh reality that fans never saw. Gerard Butler later explained that filming 300 felt like a non-stop test of pain, chaos, and emergency trips to the hospital. He said, "I remember every day somebody was getting taken to the hospital, and the vibe on set proved him right." Butler described moments where you'd turn mid-fight and see someone on the ground because a spear almost hit their eye, or another actor suddenly collapsing after breaking an ankle. On screen, the battles looked clean, but in real life, everything was wild, tight, and risky, with everyone wearing heavy gear in cramped spaces surrounded by blue screens. Real weapons, even dulled, still caused danger. One mistimed move sent a spear near an actor's eye. Another slip caused a fractured ankle, and none of these were rare. Snyder pushed the cast to do their own stunts for authenticity, but that choice came with bruises, cuts, and muscle tears every day. Actors had to fight imaginary enemies, swing swords at green screens, and keep energy high through endless takes. It was acting mixed with exhausting physical training, and Butler said he felt mentally and physically drained every night, but kept going because playing a Spartan king meant pushing through the pain. Before filming even started, the cast went through one of the most intense prep programs in Hollywood. Months earlier, Butler and the others trained inside the Jim Jones gym, grinding non-stop to build the Spartan look. Butler trained for 7 full months to embody King Leonidas, proving the suffering didn't start on set. It started long before the cameras rolled. Gerard Butler's training sessions for 300 were on a whole different level. Some days lasted 6 hours, packed with CrossFit, heavy lifting, sword drills, and circuits that pushed the cast way past normal Hollywood workouts. Sources like GerardButler.net explained this wasn't a fitness plan. It was a full-body rebuild meant to turn regular guys into Spartan legends. Elite trainer Mark Twight from Jim Jones ran the whole operation with a tough, no-nonsense mindset. His training mixed high-intensity CrossFit, conditioning, weightlifting, martial arts, and even simulated combat to get the cast ready for those massive battles. And they didn't stop once cameras rolled. Actors lifted weights or hit calisthenics between takes to stay pumped for every shot. This wasn't about looking strong on screen. They had to be strong. The goal was stone-carved muscle mixed with real power and endurance. They flipped tires, swung kettlebells, sprinted through obstacles, hammered through push-ups and pull-ups, and drilled martial arts moves over and over until everything felt natural. The idea was to train for battle, not just for camera angles. Butler later admitted the training almost broke him. He dealt with tendinitis, hip issues, and even a torn rotator cuff, reaching a point where he could barely lift his arms. Still, he kept pushing, because fully becoming King Leonidas meant embracing the pain and intensity every single day. Even during filming, the workouts didn't slow down. After long shooting days, Butler often had to keep training, either to maintain muscle definition or to prep for another intense fight scene. He said the constant wear and tear was ruining his body, but he used that pain to fuel the raw energy you see on screen. The now famous 8-week training program the cast followed became legendary worldwide, copied by gyms everywhere because of how intense and transformative it was. Fans and fitness lovers tried the Spartan routine from 300, but most quickly realized it was almost impossible to finish. What truly separated Gerard Butler from everyone else wasn't just the workouts. It was the mental, emotional, and spiritual commitment he brought every single day. One outlet said Butler's method for becoming Leonidas was unconventional, and he even admitted he meditated to channel Leonidas through a weird portal. He didn't want to just look like a warrior. He wanted to think like one, feel like one, and step into the mindset of a leader marching into certain death with his soldiers. This mental work wasn't the only thing he pushed. Butler did many of his own stunts, believing the role needed real movement and real emotion, not staged reactions. In one major battle sequence, he went so hard that he called it one of the biggest adrenaline highs of his entire career. Every yell and every sword swing came from real energy and heart. Even though the movie was filmed in controlled studio spaces, danger was always nearby. People.com reported that Butler often found himself in risky situations, not just in 300, but in later projects too. From dealing with hypothermia in Iceland to frightening explosive stunts with Pierce Brosnan, he constantly pushed himself for realism. 300 also brought its own strange challenges. Most of the blood and chaos was added digitally, so Butler and the cast had to fight enemies they couldn't see and react to violence that wasn't actually happening. With no blood packs or practical effects, every moment depended on imagination and focus. This full-body commitment, mentally and physically, became a defining part of Butler's career and helped cement the legacy of 300. Gerard Butler didn't just memorize lines. He stepped into a mindset where he truly felt what it meant to lead warriors into danger. His willingness to take on stunts, push through pain, and accept real risks made his performance feel raw and powerful, even inside a film packed with digital effects. Behind that performance was a battlefield built from technology and style. Zack Snyder came in with a bold plan: bring Frank Miller's graphic novel to life, almost frame for frame, treating each shot like a moving illustration. About 90% of the movie used visual effects, turning the project into one of the most tech-heavy productions of its time. Instead of giant sets or real locations, they shot the whole film inside a studio in Montreal. The actors worked in tight, hot spaces, surrounded by blue screens with barely any props, imagining cliffs, palaces, and whole armies that would only appear later in post-production. The painterly look gave Snyder total control over lighting and mood, but it made the environment brutally uncomfortable. The hot studio lights created intense heat mixing with armor, sweat, and heavy fight scenes. Butler later admitted he even passed out from dehydration during filming. Long hours under those lights while doing non-stop choreography pushed the entire cast to their edge, both mentally and physically. The commitment to the stylized world shaped creative choices too. One example was the Oracle scene. Her strange, dreamlike lines weren't fully scripted. According to Screen Rant, much of her dialogue was improvised to build a mystical vibe that matched the movie's symbolic tone. Snyder didn't want history. He wanted legend, myth, and larger-than-life energy. Every movement and every detail in 300 was crafted to hit themes of destiny, sacrifice, and glory. But beyond the style, the movie also changed modern fitness culture in a huge way. The cast had to look like real Spartans, which meant surviving the brutal 300 workout. 300 non-stop reps of pull-ups, deadlifts, push-ups, box jumps, floor wipers, and kettlebell clean and press drills. Men's Health said only one cast member ever completed the whole routine, and Butler admitted he was so drained afterward he couldn't train for a year. The shredded Spartan look blew up fast. Magazines and gyms pushed Spartan-style programs, and Time.com reported that the movie sparked real debates about body image and extreme fitness pressure. The Spartan body became a goal for many people, turning the film into a global fitness influence. But something deeper formed through all that pain, a real brotherhood among the cast. Playing King Leonidas, Butler carried the weight of leadership both in the story and on set, and he later said the unity among the actors was crucial to capturing the spirit of Sparta. The cast, including actors like Lena Headey, David Wenham, Dominic West, and Michael Fassbender, didn't just work together. They trained together, suffered together, and kept each other going. Butler said their bond was transformational, helping everyone push through the hardest days. The training sessions were intense and silent at times, hours of flipping weights, grinding through circuits, and barely catching breath. But those sessions built loyalty as much as muscle. They cheered each other through tough drills, shared meals, helped recover, and grabbed laughs whenever they could. For Butler, that shared suffering wasn't just physical. It created a real sense of respect and brotherhood that matched the warrior spirit they were bringing to the screen. Gerard Butler said that by the time filming started, the cast had an unspoken bond that felt real. "We were like a team," he explained, and when they stepped onto the set, it felt like they had already survived their own war together. They understood each other's strengths, each other's pain, and that connection made every scene hit with real emotion. This tight bond showed up on screen. The Spartans didn't just look united, they felt united. Off camera, the cast battled the heat, the isolation of blue screen sets, and the weight of armor under blazing lights, and they leaned on each other to power through long days and endless takes. Even quieter scenes with Lena Headey and David Wenham carried that shared energy, adding emotional depth to moments of loss and sacrifice. Michael Fassbender later said the group dynamic kept him focused and locked in. Everyone pushed to honor the Spartan code of loyalty and courage, and that shared mission created a brotherhood that went far beyond the script. Their real friendships became the foundation for the fierce unity audiences saw in the film. When 300 finally dropped in 2007, no one expected the cultural earthquake that followed. What started as a graphic novel adaptation exploded into a worldwide phenomenon, shaping cinema, fitness, advertising, fashion, and pop culture. CNET Live even called it a turning point for modern epic storytelling. The film redefined visual style with its high-contrast colors, dramatic lighting, slow-motion combat, and bold digital effects. That look became Snyder's signature vibe and sparked a whole new wave of stylized epics. Shows and films like Spartacus, Immortals, and even Game of Thrones pulled inspiration from 300, using stylized blood, slow-motion hits, and intense close-ups to amplify emotion and scale. The success of 300 pushed studios to take bigger visual risks, proving audiences were ready for bold, graphic novel-style movies. And outside the theater, the film hit the fitness world hard. The shredded Spartan look, especially Gerard Butler as Leonidas, became the new blueprint for male strength. Trainer Mark Twight's 300 workout exploded everywhere, spreading through gyms, trainers, and magazines like Men's Health, which broke down the routine for people trying to chase that Spartan appeal. This sparked huge conversations about discipline, endurance, and how the movie reshaped modern ideas of masculinity. The film's themes of loyalty, courage, and standing tall against impossible odds connected with people across the world. And Butler's iconic shout, "This is Sparta," blasted across the internet, turning into memes, jokes, and viral edits that stamped the film into pop culture history. Even academics felt the impact. The movie kicked up fresh interest in ancient history, especially the Battle of Thermopylae. Books on Greek warfare started selling again, and college professors used 300 as a visual reference in discussions about myth versus historical truth. Historians criticized the accuracy, but they also admitted the movie drew in students who'd never touched the topic before. Hollywood changed too. 300 proved a movie with no massive stars, shot almost entirely in a warehouse with blue screens, could still dominate the box office. Zack Snyder's career soared, earning him major films like Watchmen and Man of Steel. Gerard Butler's career exploded as well. Almost overnight, he shifted from a little-known actor to a global action star. Even years later, 300 stays influential, still quoted, studied, and copied. Its visuals, its demands, and its cultural imprint turned it into something bigger than a film. It became a full-blown movement. Before 300, Gerard Butler had talent and charisma, but he wasn't a big name yet. He showed promise in The Phantom of the Opera and popped up in movies like Reign of Fire and Timeline. But none of those roles pushed him into global spotlight territory. They gave him visibility, but not the kind of life-changing breakout every actor dreams of. That all changed in 2007 when he stepped into the role of King Leonidas in Zack Snyder's 300. Butler's performance hit like a shockwave. As the fearless Spartan leader, he controlled every frame with raw energy, physical power, and the now legendary roar, "This is Sparta!" His commitment showed. He trained hard, pushed through pain, and delivered a performance that felt straight from the heart. The movie wasn't just successful, it became a global phenomenon, and Butler shot to the top instantly. Suddenly, he wasn't just another actor. He was a leading man. Studios wanted right away. Casting directors saw he could handle roles that demanded strength, intensity, and real emotion all at once. After 300, Butler's career exploded. He started landing major leading roles and proved he wasn't limited to action characters. In P.S. I Love You, starring opposite Hilary Swank, he showed a softer side that audiences connected with, helping him avoid getting boxed into only tough guy roles. He jumped back into high-energy films with Gamer and delivered a gritty performance in Guy Ritchie's Rock'n'Rolla. These projects showed he could flip between action, drama, romance, and crime storytelling without missing a beat. Butler's rise after 300 made it clear he wasn't just a one-movie wonder, he was a force in Hollywood, ready for any lane the industry threw at him. Gerard Butler kept leveling up after 300, proving he wasn't a one-note action star. In Law-Abiding Citizen, he delivered a dark, intense performance as a man taking on a broken justice system, and the movie crushed at the box office. It showed he could play characters with real moral conflict, not just pure strength. He also jumped into comedy and romance with surprising confidence. The Ugly Truth became a hit, and his chemistry with Katherine Heigl kept audiences talking. A year later, The Bounty Hunter with Jennifer Aniston added another win to his streak. Maybe not a critic favorite, but definitely a crowd pleaser that kept him everywhere. Even with all that range, Butler stayed tied to action roles fans loved. He returned to mythic fantasy in Gods of Egypt, survived global chaos in Geostorm, and held down the entire Fallen franchise as Mike Banning, the tough Secret Service agent who always finds a way out. Those movies locked in his action hero status and built a loyal fan base that loved his rugged style. But Butler didn't ignore smaller character-heavy films either. In Machine Gun Preacher and Greenland, he mixed emotional weight with intense storytelling, reminding everyone he wasn't afraid to take on roles that pushed him as an actor. Since 300, Butler has built a long-lasting place in Hollywood. The film didn't just boost his career, it shaped his entire path, giving him a global audience and a legendary role people still quote today. To many fans, he will always be King Leonidas, the warrior who stared down fate with fire in his eyes. Like, share, subscribe. Secret America Channel.